Hi, this is Tony at Whalebones, and I want to tell you a story. Every Saturday, Leo and I go to this bar called the Log Cabin in Emily. And we have this friend, Bryon, and he likes a Rumpleton drink. Very peppermint, very, very strong. Now, Bryon wanted 3 shots of Rumpleton, but the bartender refused, said it was too powerful. I called it Rumplestiltskin. And the story of Rumplestiltskin goes back to many thousands of years, told in every culture, every religion, every dialect. So here's the story of Rumplestiltskin. Hi folks, this is Tony again, and I will tell you the story of Rumplestiltskin. There was this miller in a tiny town. He was very poor, but he had a very beautiful daughter. Her name was Dorothy. So one day this king comes to town. The miller was so tired of being poor, he definitely wanted to meet this king, right? So he relates to the king how beautiful Dorothy was. The king said, "Yes, I can see she's so beautiful, but what talent, pray, does she have?" The miller lied and said she can weave straw into gold. So the king's eyes were as big as saucers. So he took Dorothy into the straw-filled room, and he told Dorothy, "Listen, I'll give you a day to turn all this straw into gold. But if you can't do it, baby, when I come back tomorrow, I'll kill you." Oh my gosh. Dorothy was despondent and cried hysterically, knowing there was no way to do this. Then there appeared this old grizzled elf, and he said, "If I do this, what do I get in return?" The daughter, Dorothy, terrified by her fate, said, "Look, I have this necklace I will give you." So the elf agrees and turns all the straw into gold. So the elf went to work turning all the straw into fine gold. Dorothy was so grateful, she gladly handed the elf her beautiful necklace. But the next day, the king came back, and seeing all this rich gold, he said, "Great work, Dorothy. I am so impressed." But greedily he ordered her to repeat this feat. "And if in a day when I return, I will marry you and make you my queen." Dorothy freaked out. She knew what would happen if she could not do this again. She would be nothing but chopped liver. So once again, the elf appeared and told Dorothy, "Don't cry. Don't cry, baby. I can turn all this straw into gold. But if I do, you have to give me your firstborn child." Dorothy was lost for words. She was now rich and could give the elf anything he wanted: land, precious jewel, knighthood. But she finally, having no choice, had to agree. So many seasons and years passed, and Dorothy lived an exquisite and charmed life. Finally, the elf returns one day, telling Dorothy, "Listen, now I want my firstborn." Dorothy says, I can give you riches. I can give you riches, but I can never give you this. So the elf says, look, if you can guess my name, I will let you keep your child. So one of Dorothy's servants follows the elf back to his secret cave, where he observes the elf dancing around the fire, singing, I'm Rumplestiltskin, and I will soon have my baby. So the elf returns, and he says, did you guess my name? Dorothy blurts out, Rumplestiltskin. The elf gets so mad, he's enraged, yells, shit, how did you ever guess my secret name? That is the end of this story, and it shows that human life is worth more. It's infinitely valuable. This is Tony out.